Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, and it is a brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer? And I just said Benjamin Banks. I'm not Benjamin Banks right now. I'm your boy, Santa Banks. And, we are going into the Great Gingerbread Wars coming up, and I have another amazing cosplayer joining me up here today, and that is Janae Cosmos. Janae, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Hey, I am doing amazing. I survived the Great Turkey War, and now the Great Gingerbread War is coming. And I just got to ask this first question. Are you ready for the Great Gingerbread War?
Oh my goodness. I have leftovers from yesterday. It might last me through the gingerbread war.
Say what?
I said I have leftovers from yesterday that's going to last me through the gingerbread war.
Well, hey, look, if you need some help, your boy Santa Banks, he'll come there to save the day because I am training to be the #1 hero. So before we get into today's interview, everybody that's watching, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And as D always says, podcast link down below in the description. Like, follow, subscribe. So let's go ahead and get into today's interview. So, Janae, first question I ask each and every guest up here on Who's That Cosplayer is, what is your origin story? Every hero or villain has one, so tell everybody who you are.
So I started going to conventions since 2010, and then I started cosplaying in 2011. My inspiration started from the fact that my first time going to a con, I saw people in costumes, and then I decided, hey, I want to do that as well. And mind you, at the time I was a teenager, so and still cosplaying after all these years. So from teenager to adulthood.
That's awesome, man. I wish when I was a teenager that I had went to conventions, and there were conventions here in the area, but my mom, she wasn't taking me to no convention. And it's like, she wasn't really a nerd or anything like that. So I had to wait until I was an adult to start going to conventions. But I think that that's really cool that you went to your first con, and then the next one you cosplayed. Who did you cosplay as when you went to your next con?
So I went as Iris from Pokemon because that was the year, what was the series of it? Was it Black and White, I think? Right. Yeah, that's when that came out. Yeah.
Hey, that was the first time we saw Black people on Pokemon. I was just like, yo.
Yep. So I picked her as my first cosplay. And honestly, like if you go scroll back and down to my Instagram history, you'll see the photos because I probably said like throwback, my first cosplay. And of course it wasn't like the greatest.
Yeah. But I mean, that's how it always is when you do your first cosplay. I feel like, you make that first costume and then you level up from there because I mean, like the cosplays that you've done that I've seen, like they look really amazing. And one is the one that you're wearing right now, your Storm cosplay. I think it was one of my friends who had shared your photo in their story. And I was just like, yo, like that's an awesome Storm. Then you had the clouds behind you and everything. And, I know that Storm cosplay, it got a lot of traction for you and it blew up. Like, how did that feel?
Honestly, it was very shocking for me because after all these years of cosplaying, because I've encountered that feeling of like, I felt like, are my costumes not good enough? Because, none of them were like going to that level. Mm-hmm. I think the one that sort of did it was like my Hella cosplay, but it's just that there's the margin of likes between my Hella cosplay when I posted them and my Storm cosplay when I posted it. So in a sense, I was surprised because for me, when I was making the costume, it's like sometimes I'm looking at it and it's like, oh, this is no big deal. I think that's just me like kind of like, sort of like saying, oh, this is another year, another cosplay. And then everyone, kind of like, it's just like, yo, that's so cool. So then it's like, yeah, I guess it's cool now.
Yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from with that because I had cosplayed. I don't even know what I was trying to say. I think I was trying to say the cosplay that I did, but then it's like I combined the names. But I cosplayed as Kisame from Naruto. And when I did that cosplay, I was thinking just like you, I'm gonna put some face paint on, I'll make the sword and it'll just be another cosplay. But then I'm at the con and like people just kept stopping me, and then like somebody from the local news station, they interviewed me, and it's crazy because it's the ones that you think aren't gonna blow up are the ones that blow up. And like you said, it's just like you see the difference in likes on that one cosplay compared to the other. And it does kind of suck sometimes. It's like you put in a lot of work with your other cosplays and they don't get that love. But I'm one of those type of people that like to think that when the one cosplay does blow up, it's a trickle down effect, and like people start seeing everything else that you've done. It's like, oh wow, like she's really talented. So, you know, now that we're here, I want to ask you, what have been some of your favorite cosplays that you've done over the years?
So far, starting with Storm, because if you saw through my posts, like I've pretty much been cosplaying Storm. I don't think I had like the exact time range, but I think the first time I cosplayed as Storm was like 2012, and then I changed it up and like did something different in like 2018, and then back again 2022. And then my other favorite cosplay is Hela, because I guess I had one of those experiences where I was just like, you know, I'm not too sure like who I wanted to cosplay, and then when I watched Thor Ragnarok, I was like, this is a pretty fun movie, and then I like that character, so I'm gonna go for it. And I also liked when I did the cosplay for Nora in Ruby. That was like a more interesting build because mostly with the hammer, because I was just like, okay, I think I want to try to do that transformation effect. And yeah, I was able to accomplish it where it could be a hammer and also the gun. So I could have it both ways. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think that that's a cool thing that you do. Like I was checking out your stuff and seeing that you make your own props and whatnot. Now I got to ask you, like, what made you want to get into making your own props instead of purchasing them already pre-made?
So I think what it is that sometimes when you purchase the prop, you know, maybe the quality isn't really there. It looks a little bit, you know, more on the plastic side. So you want it to look more realistic. So you want to do, you know, when you're doing the painting, you do the shading so it looks a little bit more realistic. And also, I would say something like Nora's hammer is not really sold anywhere. So it's just like, okay, you got to be creative.
Yeah. And, I totally understand that. And then, you know, staying on the prop stuff, like one of the cosplays that you did the Pink Ranger from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 2016 movie. And I thought that cosplay was amazing. I always love when that happens. But anyway, I want to ask you, like, how do you feel about that movie? Because I really enjoyed it, and I, watched it recently, and it was so sad when I watched it because it was like a couple hours later, rest in peace to Jason David Frank. He passed, it was announced that he had passed away. And, we all love Jason David Frank. Like, everybody loved the Green Ranger, everybody loved the White Ranger. But I want to know, like, what were your thoughts on that movie?
I did enjoy the movie when I watched it. And then when I saw, the Rotten Tomato reviews, it was like kind of mixed. So the funny thing is I wasn't a Power Rangers fan growing up too much, watching it on like the TV show station like Kids WB and, like Fox Kids and stuff like that. Like I wasn't really into it, maybe just because I thought of them as like cops. So I'm watching a show about cops doing what they're supposed to do, which is like beat the bad guys. So that's why I wasn't into it as a kid. But as an adult watching the movie, I actually liked it.
Yeah, and it's a good movie. That's why man, can you imagine if we would have got that sequel and then Tommy would have been the main villain in the sequel? I think it would have been really dope. So I got to ask you too. I mean, because you said that you weren't really a fan watching it growing up. Like, did you have a favorite between the Green Ranger and the White Ranger?
I would say probably the Green Ranger. Yeah, I think I like the Green Ranger better.
I mean, a lot of people do. I mean, I like White Ranger. It's not that many people that like the White Ranger, but I like the White Ranger. But and then now we're talking about movies. I know that you had did one of the Storm outfits from the Fox Xmen movies, the one that Halle Berry was in. I want to ask you, like, how did you feel about that movie series? And are you looking forward to the revamp of seeing the X-Men in the MCU now?
So I think at the time, since I was a kid, I probably just liked it because I was a kid. If I had to rewatch it today, most likely my opinion would be different. As for them making like revamping the X-Men in the MCU, I feel like I'm not sure. I'm hoping that it's obviously like good because you don't expect the movie to be bad, but I'm hoping it will be good because when I watched the that remake that they did with that new actress as Storm, I wasn't really feeling it.
Who's that cosplayer?
Sakura Nagamasa.
What was that?
It's not just her, it was just the whole like writing and stuff.
Yeah, I think that was Alexandria Ship that was the new.
Yeah, I think that's her name.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It's like, it was okay, but that's all it was. It was just okay. Like, I'd never watched those movies and it was just like, man, like these extra movies. Yeah, you know, but hopefully, you know, they keep on teasing us in all of these MCU shows and movies about mutants and whatnot. And, you know, now Ryan Reynolds made the announcement that Deadpool 3 is happening and Hugh Jackman is going to be Wolverine. So, yeah, hopefully we'll see something in it. And, you know, one final movie question, then we can get back to some more of the cosplay stuff. Have you seen Wakanda Forever?
I did. Okay. And I want to watch it again. And I want to purchase it on Blu-ray when it comes out.
Yeah, it was a good movie. I watched it when it came out, and it was very sad. Like, I feel like it was one of those well, not one, but the first Marvel movie where it's like everybody was just quiet. Like, there wasn't really a lot of laughing in my theater, like, because nobody knew what to expect and whatnot. Like, how was your theater experience when you went to go see it?
Yeah, I agree. My theater experience was pretty quiet. There were moments where people were clapping because, you know, just giving a sign of respect. Yeah. So it was mostly that. It was just the respect for the film because it was an intense storyline, but it was also good. So I believe people in the audience actually also enjoyed it as well, since, you know, some people were clapping and there was like moments of silence.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was sad. I need to watch it again too. I don't know when I want to watch it. And it's crazy because Black Panther came on yesterday, and like that's still like one of, like, when it comes to top 5 Marvel movies, that's still in my top 5. Every time I watch it, I always feel like it's a new experience every time, even though I've seen it so many times. I don't know. I think it's just because of Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace. But you know, getting back to some more cosplay stuff, I gotta ask you, what are some future costumes that you're planning on working on?
So I'm thinking of continuing on my Blackfire cosplay. I had a little sneak peeks of my work in progress, and then I kind of stopped, like, you know, posting about it. So that's in the backlog. And another idea that I'm thinking about is Mel from Arcane.
Okay, all right, nice. Yeah, I can't wait to see those. I did see the Blackfire cosplay that you had did a little teaser for, and I think that it looked amazing. Are you watching the Titan show that comes on HBO Max?
I did watch a couple of episodes.
How do you feel about it? Because
that's why I'm laughing, because it's like I watched a couple of episodes and it's like, leave it at that.
Oh man, you're not a fan?
About it, like, maybe it's the acting, maybe it's the storyline that I just look at it and I'm kind of confused with it.
I feel you on that. Because it's like we all grew up watching Teen Titans, and it's like when you think of the Titans, no matter what version of it, which version of them it is, you would just automatically go back to the Teen Titans. And I think it's cool that you're doing the Blackfire, because I have a Cyborg cosplay from Teen Titans that I'm going to be working on soon, and I can't wait to do it. Like, I don't know, man. It's like ever since I made my sword for Kisame, I'm just like, yo, I can make anything now. So I can't wait to do that Cyborg cosplay. So, you know, moving along, I got to ask you, what are some of your hobbies that you're into when you're not cosplaying?
So I like to play video games. Lately, one video game that has me a little bit hooked is Splatoon 3. I think it's just because it's easy gameplay. Like, you could go into a match for like 3 minutes and then, like, you know, the next match and stuff. So I enjoy Splatoon 3. I also play Smash here and there with friends because, you know, like the wildness of Smash, like like the way you're dying or like the way someone beats you, and then it's like it's like crazy. There was this one Smash match where we were on, I think, the Pokemon, I think it was Kalos stage, and pretty much I got the win because it was on the stage where there were like the swords that came down, and I think it turns the characters into metal, and like when my opponent was trying to hit me, instead they got like slashed by the sword, and that's how they died. So it's like those lucky wins.
Yeah, yo, I totally feel you on that, because I was just playing Smash with a group of friends a couple weeks ago, and I was Sonic, and I can't remember who my friend was, but he had 2 lives left, and I had 1 life left, and I was like, yo, I know that I can do this. And I was starting to come back on him, and the stage, it transformed, and then before it had transformed, he used one of the items as a Nintendo. And I thought that we were fighting on top of the Nintendo, but the Nintendo is there to distract you so that way you can't see anything. And that's how I ended up dying. And I was like, are you serious? Like, I lost because of a dog? Like, I was so heated, but I did end up beating him in the next match. And he told me the only reason why I beat him was because we had 5 other people playing. And I was just like, nah, man, a win is a win. It don't matter how many people are playing. Because if you would have beat me, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. You know what I'm saying? So I got to ask you now, and this goes back to like cosplay and con stuff. Like, what have been some of your favorite con moments from over the years?
So in the last con at New York Comic Con, I think what I remember the most was when there were 2 other ladies dressed up as Storm. They were taking pictures of me, and then I wanted pictures with them, so I posted that as well. And they told me about that, you know, if I was going to the Marvel meetup, and I was like, no, I didn't know there was a Marvel meetup. And then the way it came about was one of the Storms found the other Storm, and then both of them found me. So then it became like a recruitment process of Storms going off to this Marvel meetup.
That's
and
awesome.
that was like one of my favorite moments.
I think that's all. I feel like nobody ever knows when there's a photo shoot or meetup at a con. It's like you just randomly find out about it. Because I know that there's been times where I think it was the first time I had cosplayed as Jotaro, and somebody was just like, yeah, there's a JoJo photo shoot on Sunday. And I was like, real? I didn't know about that. And I do my best now to look and see when there's going to be photo shoots at cons. So that way I know what cosplays to wear on that day. So that way I can be a part of the photo shoot. Cause it's just like, you don't want to miss that photo shoot and meet new friends and all that other cool stuff, man. So, you know, we're here at the end of the interview now, and I got to ask the final question. Cause like I said at the start of this thing, the Great Gingerbread Award coming up. I want to know from you, what has been one of your favorite moments, one of your favorite holiday moments that you have had so far?
Oh, that's actually an intense question because now I have to think a little bit.
That's what Santa Banks does.
My best holiday moments. But I feel like, what are holidays anymore in a pandemic? Yeah, time passes by so fast that, like, you know, 1 minute is New Year's and next minute is Christmas.
That's true.
Honestly, like, time passes by so fast. And it could be any holiday.
Oh, well, I mean, like, well, the Christmas holidays, yeah. In the Christmas holidays, yeah.
Like I said, the good thing is because pandemic time, I'm like, what did I do last Christmas?
Or it could be from like when you were young, like when you got that Nintendo 64 or PS2. I think I might be aging myself when I say that.
Do you remember like when I could have been 8 or something. Maybe that's a stretch. I was probably like 5, but I feel like I'm like dating myself wrong. But I remember seeing, because I probably recently saw it, like when I saw pictures of myself opening gifts that my parents got me. And it's like, I got like this Barbie set, and then I also got the Game Boy Color and stuff. So yeah, I think that was one of the best moments, because it's like in the pictures, obviously it's like smiling like so hard, like cheesing so much. I probably had like one missing tooth, because that age you like have your teeth like falling out.
The Tooth Fairy, all that stuff. Do you remember what game you got with that Game Boy Color? I'm assuming it's Pokemon. Yeah,
it was a Pokemon game that I got with it.
Yeah, that's always good. It's crazy, man, because I remember when I was a kid, and I already had the Game Boy Color, but my mom, she had got me Pokemon, and I don't know, like I flipped when she had got it for me. And then the next year, she ended up getting my brother Pokemon, and it was so, because, you know, even though I'm Santa Bank, you know, I was a bad Banks at one time, and she got me Pokemon Blue, and then she got my brother Pokemon Red the next year. And I'm just like, well, my favorite color is red and his favorite color is blue. So I just gave him my Pokemon and took his Pokemon, and I did get my tail whooped for it. But I'm just like, Like, why would you give me Pokemon Blue? You know, I'm just like, Mom, like, come on now. But anyways, that's another story for a different time. So I just want to say, Janae, thank you so much for joining me up here on Who's That Cosplayer. You an amazing guest. And I just got to ask the final question. Where can everybody find you at in social media land?
They can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at the same username, Janae Cosmos.
Awesome. Hey, y'all know where y'all can find Santa Banks at King Benji _Banks on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you all, everybody, for watching this interview. Make sure you check out some more interviews that we have here on the channel, along with reviews and reaction videos. Check out our podcast. We have brand new episodes every Tuesday. The link is down below in the description. And then the video of that episode is up here on YouTube on Friday. So with that being said, keep that pinky up, stay positive, prepare for the Great Gingerbread War. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.